the way.
We're wanted men.
I have spoken.
Welcome to episode 206 of the Smugglers Galaxy podcast, your favorite Star Wars podcast for smugglers in the galaxy. I'm Glenn, and there's Jason.
Raise the roof.
Raise the roof,
Smugglers in the
mother
galaxy.
truckers. How y'all doing this morning? Jason, hi.
Hi. I probably shouldn't complain about this to you, but I really don't like my hair today. I think it's time for a haircut, but
Why didn't you just keep the hat on?
I should. I'll go get it.
I saw y'all were busy this morning, like early.
Yeah. Harrison ran a 5K, and I saw Tim. Tim was there.
Oh, what? Tim ran a race?
Tim ran a race. But he said he hasn't done it in a while, so he didn't perform as well as he'd want, but he was just happy to be there.
Right. With the cows.
With the cows. It was a Chick-fil-A race.
That's
And,
fun.
yeah,
What
he
was
did
his
well.
time?
34 minutes.
Yeah, that's haul. Oh, yeah. That's pretty good. That's hauling.
Well, there was people who were done in 15. I'm like, oh, geez. It was like 15:54.
Wow. So that's
Close to 5-minute miles.
wow. That's a good wow. I can't run that fast. The only way I run that fast is if a bear is chasing me.
Wow. And even then,
And even
you've
then,
got 3 minutes, and then I'm like, all right, I guess I'm lunch.
you're right. Time for lunch.
Time flies when you're gonna be eating.
You're right.
I don't know. That's a stupid joke.
Oh, how's your week been going?
Good. I do want to issue one retraction.
Uh-oh, what's that?
I said last week that the current Star Speeder is a Star Speeder 2000 at Star Tours. I said 2000. It's actually 1000.
Wow.
But it's still a prequel to the original Star Tours. That was factual.
There you go. That doesn't make sense, but I will, sometimes Disney doesn't make sense. So there we go.
Yeah.
What else is going on? Did you get anything? I didn't get anything this week. It's been a very dry couple of months for your boy.
Well, you're saving up for things.
Yeah, I'm saving up for things, and I had to spend like $400 on my sink because it wasn't draining well. So that was $400 down the drain. But don't bump. But everything's draining awesome. It's it got to the point where you'd run the dishwasher and you had 6 inches of water in your sink, and it's like, I don't think that's supposed to work. I don't think that's how that works.
No. Whenever the drain gets clogged, I usually take care of it myself just because I don't want to spend $400 to have someone come over. It's dirty crap work, but
Right.
I'd rather get my hands dirty than spend $400.
Dude, I did try to fix it. I snaked it, and they spent about 2 hours on it, and then he looked at me and goes, I need to go to Home Depot, get a bigger snake. So when
You're gonna need a bigger snake.
we're gonna need a bigger snake. So when he came back, I'm thinking it's gonna be like he just got a bigger snake. No, he got one he had to wheel into the house. So it was like a 75-foot snake. I was like, I just laughed. I was like, wow. And he spent like 3-4 hours on it. So I told him, I said, I'm glad you're spending this much time and having this many issues with it, because I know at that point I couldn't have fixed it.
Is it related to your septic tank?
Not really. Probably yes and no, but not. Maybe that's why the septic tank was so crappy, because people before us were just putting. Because they were just putting everything down the sink. And the people that normally you have like a 3-inch pipe for your kitchen, well, we have a 2-inch pipe for our kitchen. So it's just like whoever built this house was a freaking idiot. And the pipes don't go straight for some reason. They take like a weird turn, and he said that messes things up. And Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So yay, home ownership.
Yay, home ownership.
How's your deck going?
It's going. It's kind of paused. We had some issues this week with the electrician inspector. Because the electrician came out, he installed a fan, he installed a floodlight, and he installed a plug for the TV. The electrician inspector came out and said, "No, you need one on the outside of your screened-in area because that's a separate deck." And the inspector has tried before to contact the chief and was just like, "Point me to the code where it says you need to have a plug outside." Because I mean, first of all, the screened-in deck is not a room; it's a screened-in deck.
Right.
There's no insulation, there's no drywall. But anyways, long story short, he came back out and he had to install another plug, but it's high enough and we're just going to cover it. So that's where we stand. So we're just waiting for them to come out for the framing inspector. Then they can finish up the framing and we can rock and roll. But I
Oh,
did hang outside last night. We had a really bad rainstorm.
yeah.
And my phone, oh gosh, it's been a long time since I've added music to my phone. So I had to plug it into iTunes.
Uh-huh.
And it took literally like 5-6 hours. So
Jeez.
I was out back completely unplugged, just listening to the rain, and it was probably the most relaxing night I've had in a long time.
Yeah, Mandy had a really rough night Thursday night. So last night about 8 o'clock, we went outside and we did the same thing because that's normally our thing. Into Thursday, Friday night, we'll do the same thing. We'll go out on the back deck and watch TV or listen to music, and then I'll smoke a cigar and have a couple of beers, and about 8 o'clock, my cigar it was good, but you get a cigar and it's just a little bit dried out and it starts falling apart, and it just about 75% of the way through it, I gave up, and I normally don't give up on a cigar. As soon as I start feeling heat, I still puff on it till it's half an inch. I probably go too far with them. But yeah, we got in about 8:30, and about 9 o'clock, the bottom fell out. So we just missed it. But
Yeah.
I guess and it was a massive rainstorm last night.
Mm-hmm.
Thunderbolts and lightning.
Yeah. So it was great. The last weekend I did go up to Ollie's where we're looking for a outdoor rug to go on the deck, and I hit the Black Series jackpot.
Cha-ching.
I got 7 Black Series figures for the Winter Social, so I'm gonna keep that undercover for now. But I did get some of those. I got all for $10. I got the fifth brother from the Kenobi show.
Yep.
I never got that one for $10. I'll take it. There was a Kenobi Jim, which I think is the part where he's getting dragged over the coals by Darth Vader and he's being burnt alive almost. So I got that one. It was the only one they had, so I was glad I snagged that. And then the other one I got from the Kenobi show was Tala in her Imperial officer costume. So I think I'm pretty complete. There's the one Inquisitor that I don't have. She's the orange lady with like the 2 talons or the 2 whatever you call them on the back of her head.
Right.
So
I don't know which one she is either.
I think I need to track that one down. But then I think I have all of the Kenobi ones, and I'm pretty happy with that. So
Sweet.
I did pick that up. My Hammerhead came, Black Series Hammerhead, which is just a phenomenal figure. He looks incredible. He looks very detailed. There's a twinkle in his eye almost.
Ooh.
Yeah,
You know why there's a twinkle in his eye?
Because he's in the real cantina.
Because you broke him out of his package, and he was like, "Jason, I love you so much."
I opened him. He came with 3 cups, which I was happy with. He came with a
Wow,
blaster.
3 cups.
3 cups.
They spared no expense on that one.
No, I was sharing that with a friend, and my friend said that at one point Patrick was talking about those SDC exclusives that they were going to continue making the bar with other characters.
Uh-huh.
Which I don't recall Patrick ever saying that. And I mean, Patrick's not there anymore, so maybe they won't do that. But just make more aliens and I'd be happy.
Right.
We need a Moff Tech and other ones, I guess. I have a Kabe Cabe, so those are usually paired together, but I don't need one of those. I've already made my own.
Right. The way it sounds is they're gonna keep going with the Tatooine thing in the next year, but maybe because the fudge cantina didn't do as hot as they thought, maybe they'll change it. But you never know with Hasbro.
Yeah.
Anywho,
And
yeah.
then on what?
No, go finish your thing, and then I'll have to tell a story.
And then on Monday morning, all the D23 exclusives went live at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. What's that? 8 a.m. Pacific Time, 9 a.m.
Yeah.
Pacific Time. And of course, everybody was after that Star Speeder 3000. I had signed into the app early. I was in there 20 minutes early, and it turned over to a waiting room.
Yep.
And it said, we'll just wait for your turn to get in, and you'll be able to buy the things. And 11 o'clock rolls around, and I'm number 14,000, and my heart sank because the word on the show floor of D23 was that 2,500 of those Star Speeders were available for those that were attending the convention. 500 were available online for those afterwards. And with 14,000 people ahead of me, I just saw my chances float away. Our friend Tony Johnson was on, and he was number 51 in line.
Lucky dog.
I don't understand how that's even possible. Like 51, you should just go in.
Right.
It's like, what are you doing?
Because I went because you had posted a link in the chat.
That was Narayan.
Or Narayan did, and I went on the link, and I was like 11,000 or 1,100 or something, and then I was like, oh man, it's in chats, so let me get out of chats and put it and go to the my browser, Safari. Well, then Safari had put me, like you said, I was like 50, 60,000. And so then I went back so I guess it is either random or whatever. But yeah, by the time I got in there, it was gone. And I was like, because they tricked you because you could actually see it still looked like it was there. So you clicked on it and it said sold out. And I was like, I'll just buy it because I know Jason's good for it. If I can get it for him, we're good. Or if you ended up getting one, I could always flip it, get my money back. I knew I could always get my money back off of it. And it was just not to be had. But yeah, I hate that. Sucks that they only put like 500 of them on there, and then and now they're up like $1,000 on eBay.
Yeah. Well, it's good to know that Glenn's my co-pilot.
Yes. I always watch out for you because I know you do the same for me.
Which makes me feel guilty because now that I think about it, last night the Target and Barrett had a Phantom.
You asshole! No,
I
got
know.
one on. I got one on Amazon, dude. It's good.
Okay.
I'm just waiting for it to come in. It's not gonna be until like October. Now if they had Hera's X-Wing, I'd come over and slap you.
They didn't have it. They didn't have it. I'm sorry.
It's all good, man.
But yeah, so Tony got 51. He ordered it, and we were in the chat, and he kind of cursed himself because he forgot the free shipping. There was a code. Normally and that was frustrating because normally with Shop Disney, if you're $75 or over, you get free shipping. This time it was you had to enter a special code to get free shipping.
Right.
And he forgot to do that. So he had to pay shipping on top of the $300. And Tony Harmon got one, and that's when I messaged Tony Johnson. I was like, can you order a second one? Because there's zero chances that I'm getting in there.
Right.
And he said, I can try. And so he went ahead and he ordered it. He put in the code for free shipping, and he was able to purchase one. And so he was able to purchase two. And later on that morning, he's like, oh no, I hope they don't cancel my order because of duplicate orders, because that trading card, the Disney trading card, Locana. Is that Locana? What is it called?
Locana.
It's the Pokemon for Disney.
Right.
And there was somebody who posted on Reddit that they ordered like one of each exclusive. So they weren't doubling up and ordering two of one specific item exclusive. They had like 3 or 4 exclusives, and they just ordered one of each.
Yeah.
And then Disney canceled that entire order.
Jeez.
So Tony is starting to feel, and I was starting to feel a little guilty because I'm like, oh God, I hope he doesn't lose out on the Star Speeder on because of me.
Yeah.
And they shipped this week.
Both of them shipped?
Both of them shipped.
Ooh.
So I paid him, and then we split the shipping on the one because you got free shipping. So I just covered half of the shipping on the other. And so,
Yeah,
yeah,
go ahead.
that's coming in.
That's awesome. Congratulations. Yeah,
Thank
somebody
you.
had posted the final invoice on that thing, and there was like almost $100 in fees between shipping and taxes.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, gee.
So they started coming in and they seem to be individually numbered out of 422 because
Ooh.
Tony Harmon was like 417 out of 422. Yak Face posted like 292 or 291 or something like that out of 422. So it seems like it's maybe even less than 500 were available online. That it was actually 422 that was available to the public.
That's crazy. That freaking Disney. I mean, and I'm curious how many sold at D23.
They were sold out.
Oh, did they sell out at
Yeah,
D23?
I watched somebody post a review online this week on YouTube from the Laughing Place. It was a 30-minute video, and he said the first 2 days of D23, you had to wake up at 4 a.m. to get a virtual queue to get into the store.
Wow.
And so on that last day, he walked into the store because there was no virtual queue. And he said there was only 10 left, and it was more of an impulse buy. But after buying it, he said he had zero regrets because he opens the thing up and it seems like there's two Rexes in there. There's a carded Rex,
Oh,
and then
that's
there's
awesome.
a bagged Rex. So, like, this thing was made for collectors. It's got the lights inside that synchronizes with the video. So, if a green laser blast goes past you, all of the lights inside the thing lights up just exactly like the original Star Tours. It's just down to the detail of the flooring. It's got that kind of raised bubble flooring.
Oh my goodness.
Um, the details are there. They're incredible. There's a button you flip open. All the doors open on one side, and you hear the doo 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 doo.
There's a button and they open automatically?
Yeah,
Oh my God.
there's
I
a button
haven't
up.
watched. Go ahead.
There's a button up front that flips up the guns because when you're riding in it,
Oh my God.
Rex, when you enter the Death Star trench, you flip open your guns and you're in there and you're part of it. There's a button up front that actually flips open those guns.
Oh my gosh. That sounds amazing. And I've seen pictures of it next to the Razor Crest, and it's the same size as the Razor Crest.
Same size. It's incredible. It's got lights. It's only $300. I say only. I know it's a lot of money, but for what you get, like for Hasbro to make this vehicle, it'd be like $600-700. It's just
Right. I mean, because yeah.
I don't get it. I can't wait to have it in hand. It does look like that the exclusivity is the Rex in the thing, and the rumor is that more are coming for just a general release in the parks.
That'd be fine.
But it wouldn't come with that Rex. That carded Rex looks incredible with the nostalgic image on the card back. It's just, and they're individually numbered on the back.
The Rex is.
The Rex is. The box says they're out of 3,000. It's a limited edition of 3,000. So I don't know, maybe the stand is what's exclusive with the Star Speeder, but there's definitely more coming from my understanding for a wider release.
Awesome.
But yeah, zero regrets. I can't wait to get that thing in hand because it just looks phenomenal and it's really raised the bar in my mind. Like, this is what I want Hasbro doing.
Right. And why aren't they? Why aren't they?
Or make a subline like the Vintage Collection Collector Series, because yes, they are toys, and toys shouldn't be made to be $300. I saw Forlom from Zuckus from Forlom to Zuckus post like it's going up to $1,400 the Star Speeder
Right
on eBay, and like we don't want other companies to see this. We don't want Hasbro to see this and be like, oh, maybe we should make a limited 2,500 thing and sell it, because we're dealing with that with Jazzwares. It's not collector base. It's like it's just creating difficulty in the hobby that doesn't need to be there.
Right. And they're not making any money from it selling for $1,000 on eBay. They've already made their money.
Right. Well, and then the other thing is we don't want them to make an exclusive run and inflate the price just because they can.
Right.
So
yeah,
I do
go ahead.
I do want like the Vintage Collection to make some sort of collector series, an offshoot of the Vintage Collection that includes these kind of electronics. And the only thing the Star Speeder doesn't have is John Williams music, and that might be a licensing thing where it'd just be too expensive to include the sound.
Right.
but everything else is there, and so maybe that's why the cantina doesn't have like music in the background. But I do
That would
think
make
that
sense.
the bar has been raised. We're seeing more and more of these articles saying that the adults are the toy collectors. They're keeping the hobby afloat, and I don't think it's too far out of the realm to say, if you're making the stuff for collectors, then make collector series stuff. Make
Right.
elevated stuff. Make the stuff that includes LCD screens and electronics and sounds and lights.
Right, because that's what we want. And well, they also need to be careful because the exclusivity is what killed like the Playmate Star Trek line, because they were making figures that were limited to under 2,000 pieces, and that's what killed the line, because you had completists that were like, I can't get this set, so I'm just going to sell everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely, it's a razor thin line that you have to watch, and
Or maybe with like the E-wing that they're
mhm,
coming out with, they make a general release, and
right.
then they make a collector series release that has all the electronics in it.
Yeah, that would make sense.
And that way you design once, and you include the electronics once, and you make just a general one for the rest of the public. So it's a toy that's accessible to kids, but it's also accessible for the collectors who want this kind of stuff.
Yeah. Fun.
Rant over.
No, it's all good, man. It's all good. No, I went to, I told you I went to a concert last
Yeah.
Saturday night.
Yes.
Yes. Just say
Yes.
yes, Jason. I
I
don't care if you
did.
remember or not.
I
I didn't
did.
hear you.
I
Sorry.
did.
Freaking Zoom. My
Frickin'
dogs are
Zoom.
barking in the background too, so that's probably why I'm paying attention to. But no, we went to see there he is. So we went to see this guy named Mark Martell, who's basically a Queen. He does Queen covers.
Oh yeah, that guy. He sounds
Yeah.
exactly like Freddie
He actually
Mercury.
did the singing for the movie.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he was the singing voice for the movie.
So they didn't
For
use Freddie's tracks?
No, I guess not, or whatever.
Wow.
He was some of the singing in the movie in Bohemian Rhapsody. So, but we went down to Peachtree City, and my wife's never really been to Peachtree City. So I knew going down to Peachtree City, the crowd would be like a really older crowd for this show. And
Yeah.
of course, we're going in Peachtree City is also, people don't know, it's known for the
Peach
golf
trees?
carts. Huh?
Yeah, no, it's the golf carts.
The
I was gonna
peach
say
tree. So
peach trees.
yeah, for peach trees. Everything's peach tree in Georgia, people, if you hadn't been here yet. So anyway, she was amazed that there was golf carts everywhere. And but anyway, we get to the concert, and of course it's nothing but like, it feels like it's because it's in a little amphitheater called the Fred that they have down there. And it felt like a lot of people there just had season tickets and went to the show because they had season tickets. And of course, me, I'm getting into it. You know me, I can't sit still. I'm standing up. At one point during Bohemian Rhapsody, I like hit the guy in front of me, and the rest of the show just was like giving me the evil eye. And my wife and the lady next to me are kind of looking at each other, just like, she's laughing at me because I'm getting into it. And I'm like, nobody's singing. Everybody's on their hands. I'm just like, people, come on, get into it. And I kind of felt bad for the guy till I started looking at other of his videos, and it's like that's the crowds he plays to, is just people that are enjoying it, and they're just sitting down and watching. But anyway, and then I went to the concession stand before the show, and this girl saw my Star Wars tattoos, and she had Star Wars tattoos, and we talked for everything. So it's like I can never get away from it. Everybody is a Star Wars fan, so it was kind of cool. And I think she joined the club. I couldn't tell because there was a girl that looked very similar to her that joined the next day. So I'm guessing it was her. But yeah, we had like a 10-minute conversation over Star Wars, and there's people behind me waiting to get their drinks. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. She's like, we're talking Star Wars. They can get over it.
Yeah, sometimes you're a bull in a china shop.
Yeah,
A little overexcited.
I felt like a bull in a china shop there, but it was a fun show.
Guys, where's the mosh pit?
Yeah, exactly.
Sir, I'm 70. If I hit someone, my bones will break.
Yeah, it definitely felt like that. But yeah, if you guys are into Queen, you need to check him out, because it is, I in my opinion, it's the closest thing we're ever going to get. Even seeing the band Queen, with Adam Lambert, he gets closer to the original stuff than they do.
Yeah, why
So,
doesn't he join Queen?
I think it's because he wasn't as big a name.
Who cares? He sounds exact. It's just like the guy who can't speak English. That's part of Journey, but he sounds just like Steve Perry.
Right.
He's what, from Taiwan or something like that?
Right. And when
And
he
he can't.
talks, he talks with the accent, but then he sings with a perfect American accent.
He sounds exactly like Steve Perry when he sings, and it's like if I were to close my eyes, I would think that it's Steve Perry singing.
Right.
Same thing with this Mark guy. He sounds exactly like Freddie Mercury.
It's amazing how close he is to Freddie, and then the guitar player. I mean, he has some very identical tones to Brian May, and it's just, and according to Mark, the keyboard player, he didn't say who, but they were part of, and Mark was actually the drummer from Queen. Roger Taylor actually had a Queen cover band, and he was the singer. So they met each other, or most of the band met each other through that. So he's like, we all learned from these guys. So, I mean, you can't get more authentic than that. But yeah, that was my Saturday night. I just bull in a china shop, Glen, knocking over 70-year-olds or 90-year-olds so I can listen to Queen.
Sounds like a good time.
Oh, it was an awesome time. It was great. It's a fun time.
I do have some news.
Yeah.
So Jude Law spoke to Rotten Tomatoes TV, and he was speaking about Skeleton Crew. He says, "So I play a character called Jod. Well, that's one of his names. He's someone they meet who is there to try and help them back to their home planet. You never quite know whether he's trustworthy, whether he isn't trustworthy, whether he's with one side or the other. You never quite know, but ultimately he's part of the crew. So some want him to be part of it. Some don't want him to be a part of it. I can't give too much away. I'm going to say he's full of contradictions. So there was that rumor a while ago that he's playing Lor Santeca, the character from the very, very beginning of The Force Awakens, like he's playing a younger version of that character.
I'll have to pay attention.
Max von Sydow from The Exorcist, he was there, and he was like, "Here's the map to Luke Skywalker."
Oh, okay.
But who
That makes
knows? Who knows? But expect some craziness going on with him.
Sweet.
He's not all that he seems. Maybe he's not even a Jedi. Maybe he's just posing as one, and he's got like magnets, like what's his face from
Is that Kenobi that he was there?
Yeah, yeah.
Every time I see that guy, because he was in
Kumail.
he was in Ghostbusters, and I'm like, is he gonna have like magnets or fake being? And then he's a freaking. All right, if you haven't seen Ghostbusters, spoiler warning. Then he's a freaking firebender or somebody that's important, and it's like, isn't that the same thing?
Yeah. He's got the Force with fire.
Right, exactly.
This is something I was excited about. Diego Luna spoke with Entertainment Weekly during D23 and said, "I think people watching Rogue One after watching season 2 of Andor are going to see a different film. Everything will be signified differently, knowing what had to happen for K2 to be there. I'm going to make you witness the journey of Rogue One in a different way, or it's going to make you, I think, and not just with K2, but with many other characters. I think it'd be really cool. I'm sure someone from Lucasfilm and Disney will give us the opportunity to watch season 2 and then go straight to watch the film on the big screen with tons of popcorns and friends around."
Wow.
And I'm really excited about that. I hope we get a cameo from Bodhi Rook. Like that's a secret cameo. If we've got Krennic, it'd be cool for Bodhi to be like sneaking something from Krennic and then taking it, and we actually see, because Andor's supposed to lead right up to Rogue One. And his mission is to find that pilot, which is Bodhi Rook. So I hope to see more Bodhi.
All right.
Cool. Moving on.
No, I didn't. Yeah, no, it took me a second to figure out who he was talking about. But yeah, no, I love the fan service that they give without being fan service.
Yeah, they're enhancing the story without like slapping you in the face with like, "Oh, here's Han's medal from the original movie."
Right. Well, we are in the middle of talking Skeleton Crew. And you were a little ornery this week about this, but
yeah,
Yeah.
We're gonna get to it, and I've got some apologies to make. So.
Okay. We'll get to it in a minute. You want to get to it in a minute?
Yeah, I'll get to this.
Yeah.
Target has an episode 1 pod racer set for Micro Galaxy Squadron. It includes Sebulba. He was released with Anakin Skywalker in a 2-pack for Walmart, but it's going to be Sebulba, Dudbolt, and Gascano, which is 2 other TIE pilots, pod racers.
Yeah, let's make now Jazzwares is getting into the Hasbro realm with it's battle damaged, because they did that with the freaking Ghost, where it's like we'll make a bigger thing about it, but it's battle damaged, so we can put more stuff with it and charge you $20 more, or charge you $120 for this setup.
Yeah. Speaking of Hasbro and repaints, Micro Galaxy Squadron is repainting a U-Wing. It's a Target exclusive. It is in Rogue One. It's the one that gets through the shield. It's painted, so let's see. I have my U-Wing here, but it's painted so it's mostly blue with just some traces of white. And it is screen accurate. There's a shot where they're flying around the beach from the air, and you can kind of see the ACTs in the background, and you see this one U-Wing that flies down, and from there you can see. Yes, I am that obsessed with Rogue One that I could tell you shot for shot where it appears.
No, and then I'm going to contradict myself, because I agree with those kind of repaints. I just don't agree with, let's put some battle damage on it.
Yeah, it's not like they're releasing a 2-pack of U-Wings and it's got the original release and then the new one.
Yeah. And also, how many toys do you have in your bedroom?
I've got 2 snow speeders. If we're going to be honest, I got 2 snow speeders. I've got a Phantom. I've got a U-Wing. I've got a Link from The Legend of Zelda with Epona, his horse. I've got, I don't know why I have this, a blind pack of Mando on one of the speeders. I've got an ATST. These guys are all related to the diorama. The ATST and the snow speeders. I do want to make that's the other thing. You gave me that.
Yeah, I did give you that
ATAT.
ATAT, because because I have no more room.
But I do want to make a diorama, so that's why I got these guys. This guy I can paint up a little bit and make him snow worthy.
No, it just hit me when you pulled out that U-Wing. I'm like, I know he's in his bedroom and he just keeps pulling toys out.
Yeah, I've got your zombie droid, which I got to bring you. I've got a B-Wing. I don't know why I've got these. These are like pack-ins, but they're like holographic minifigures, one of Amidala and one Boba Fett. I don't know why I got that, but I think that's pretty much it.
Now, did you and your wife share that desk?
No, it's pretty much me.
Okay, cool.
Josie gave me this. This was hers. It's a Darth Maul lightsaber. And she's like, I don't want this anymore. So she gave it to me and I set it on my desk.
Yeah. Somebody had a Kanan version of that at Legion Con, and I'm kind of kicking myself for not picking it up.
Oh, I also have this. Maybe Harrison gave it to me and I just never cleaned it up, but it's the Force Link.
Oh.
where you'd have to like put the action figure in the right position to get different sounds, because they only make one sound unless you have it at like 3 degrees and you touch it at the right place and then you makes another sound. That's pretty much it.
Awesome.
Moving on.
Move along. I was just like, how many toys do you have? I mean, I've got a lot of toys too, but this is my office, and I get it's your office too, but I know it's also your bedroom.
And let the record show that everybody but the zombie droids were open.
Yes, they were all open, and the only reason the zombie droid isn't open is because it's mine.
Well, the other one's not open yet.
Oh, the other one's not
open.
But guess what's going to happen? Guess what's going to happen when it gets in my stinking little hands, my grubby little hands?
Should I just open it now?
It's up to you, whatever.
No, I'll give you the...
Let me have it. Yeah, but still, I know we've probably talked about it, but still, the best part of one of the favorite parts of Big Bang Theory is when they get a new iPhone and they look at each other and are like, do you want to do it? Let's do it together. And then they rip the cellophane off the screen. And they have like a little, they're like, oh.
Yeah, it's a very intimate experience between a person and the toy to experience the unboxing It's
Yeah,
almost like ceremonial.
it is.
And so I don't want to take that ceremony away from you. I will let you do that.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Hasbro announced a Black Series Darth Maul and a K2SO from Andor. This is the 4th Darth Maul release this year.
Wow.
It's a single pack, but they also are releasing, I think it's a Walmart exclusive of a 3-pack with Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon, and Darth Maul. And then there's the holographic series of Darth Maul. And then there's the SDCC Darth Maul with the Sith speeder. So it's like you could do this better. You could pace it out. Like with Boba
Right.
Fett, at one point they were doing once a year. They were re-releasing him,
Hmm.
but it wasn't like there was 4 different Boba Fetts released at the same time.
Right.
So that's something they need to get better at.
Yeah, freaking Hasbro. It's like, oh, we got the figure made, so let's just keep repainting them and releasing them. And yeah, yeah, that's probably my one complaint is that they just don't know how to pace it out. And if they were, like you were saying, release one figure and then wait 6 months to a year and release the other one, or mix them up a little bit, please. Come on, Hasbro.
Yeah. And then the last thing we'll announce with the news is that the Vintage Collection has a K2SO with an Andor card back. It's again just like the original, release. Similarly with the Black Series, it's just a rebox with an Andor logo slapped on the front of it.
Nice.
So we're gonna dive into D23 for like 20 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Couple things to note: Kathleen Kennedy wasn't there.
Oh, really?
She wasn't there on stage announcing projects and talking about things, unlike Kevin Feige, who was there. And maybe it's nothing. Maybe I'm looking into the tea leaves, but maybe it's one of those cases where, Bob Chapek went into hiding because people hated what he was doing to the parks, and he was getting booed whenever he came out, so he stopped coming out.
I don't think it's that far. I
no.
mean, I know people hate on her, but I think she's done, all in all, has done a decent job with Star Wars.
Kathleen Kennedy is the one who told the Imagineers to abort the Tatooine concept and make Tatooine. But it seems like they're abandoning that because the announcement for Disney for the parks was that the Mandalorian and Grogu were going to come to Smuggler's Run.
Yeah. Well, I think, yeah, yeah. If that, to me, yeah, never mind. That was a really big F up, but I'm not going to hate her for it.
So there's a couple things attached to that, but going to the bingo, we said Galaxy's Edge ride announced. Does that include a retheme like that?
Is it a whole retheme? Is it?
It's a whole new ride. It's the same vehicles. It's just on the screen. You're basically playing a new game. So instead of playing Super Mario, they take out the cartridge and they put in the Legend of Zelda.
Now, is that considered? I mean, that's a gray area. I mean, I think we can like half market at least. Maybe, I don't know. I thought when I said that, I thought they were do a whole new ride, not just retheme Smuggler's Run, but we could take that as a half thing.
Half point. Maybe we ask people like, what do you think?
Right. So email us or shoot us a message. Ted, what do you think? Tell us. Is it a full bingo square or a half bingo square, or we don't get anything?
Same ride vehicle, different game.
Right.
Is that a new ride?
Which was the original plan for that anyway. It was going to be like Star Tours, where you didn't know what you got.
So on the latest issue,
So real quick, is that going to be like everything? They're going to get rid of the coaxium, and then
I believe so.
Okay.
I believe
or
so.
are all of a sudden you're going to be like, Amanda's going to come up and be like, kid, we need some coaxium.
Well, if it is, then you have to change everything. You have to change the speech at the beginning with Hondo and talking about getting the coaxium. Maybe you're still getting the coaxium, but it's a different ride, and you could still bring in Hondo talking to you, but then the next thing you know, the screen flashes and it's Mandalorian saying, "Hey, I need you to go here and follow me. We'll get this together," or something like that.
Right. That's what is it like? Because have you ever ridden the train at Universal Studios between the parks, the Harry Potter train?
Yeah.
Where it's just like, oh, there's Hagrid. He's flying in the sky. yay. Is it going to be like that where all of a sudden you're going to fly the good to go Axiom and here's
Maybe.
Mando and Grogu flying and be like, hey, how you doing? And they fly off. Or,
Maybe.
But is it a
it
whole
does,
new ride? Which, like I said earlier, that was the promise of Smuggler's Run is you didn't know what you were going to get when you got in there.
it does break the timeline because this is The Mandalorian takes place, what, 20, 30 years before the sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
So we're firmly outside of that timeline that they were established, that you were walking into this land between The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. It's just an interactive place now.
Which
Test.
Thank you. Thank you for doing that. Sorry.
So like Luke and Leia can walk around now. And Boba Fett, but like vintage Boba Fett, or Darth Vader can walk around now. So there was the Disney Dish podcast a couple months ago. Len Testa said that the Star Cruiser wasn't dead. In the latest issue, when they were talking about this and how they can bring in Luke and Leia, he floated the idea that Darth Vader character meal will be on the Star Cruiser. Maybe that's what they do. And I kind of feel like they know more than they say.
Right.
So if I were going to put something on my 2025 bingo card, I would say that the Star Cruiser becomes a restaurant, a character meal.
Which, you know what? Yeah, why not? I was going to say you wouldn't. I wouldn't want to pay to go in the park, but I guess in all the other character meals, you're paying to go to the park too, and then eating 2 hours out of your day, right? Or some of them are.
Right. Because I said Star Cruiser announced the D23. Whatever they're going to do with it would be announced. And they didn't. They held that back. But the only Star Wars announcement for the parks was that the Mandalorian and Grogu were going to be coming to Smuggler's Run, which is an easy fix. It's just a whole new video game, essentially.
Yeah.
You don't have to build any infrastructure. You don't have to build a new ride system. You don't have to invest. It's just reprogramming.
Yeah. Which I'm excited for because that video did get boring real fast.
So we're going to talk about the parks panel.
Yeah. Let's talk about
it. Let's start with Animal Kingdom. Josh D'Amaro, who's the president, I got some cred this week because Josie and I were watching some of the announcements, and I go, I met him. And she's like, you did? And I pulled up my phone from Celebration when I just bumped into him, and I said, hey, can I take a photo? And he's like, sure. And she's just like, whoa, that's impressive.
Which celebration was this?
Anaheim.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That must have been when we weren't tied to the hip.
No, we weren't tied to the hip. I was walking to the booth, and I saw Josh walking with like a handler.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know why I said this. I was like, can I take a photo? My wife would be happy to see that I got a photo with you. And it felt very disingenuous. He's like, I love making people happy. Sure.
But you know what? If you're that person, you're a semi-celebrity, and there's your people, Disney nerds are going to be like, oh crap.
Yeah. I think I like Josh. Like when people get laid off, like he's there to like hug them and try to console them.
Mm-hmm.
Like typically executives would be locked in their room, but he was like out there. I don't know how to feel about that. Is that just like showing, like it's just for show? Because
I don't think it is. I think because with Disney, you're a face. You're not an unknown unknown CEO. People know who the hell you are. So I don't think you can hide when you're the CEO of Disney.
Yeah. Well, he's not the CEO yet.
But you know what I mean when you're
rumored to be in the running,
or VP or whatever.
Well, he's president of the parks. He's
Huh?
president of all the parks.
Okay, president of the parks.
But anyways, when he was talking and he was saying that all the stuff that we're talking about is actually going to happen. So this is not blue sky thinking.
Yeah.
And he said, we're actually moving dirt right now. And when he says that, they have trailers set up in Animal Kingdom, and they've already started to move some dirt around for what's going to replace Dino Land, which is the Latin Americas.
Right.
Which is
and I hate to interrupt you for that, but was that a rumor that they were going to do all that stuff, or was it already announced?
They announced it as like a blue sky thing. Like, this is what we're thinking. Because at one point, the Encanto house was going to be in the Magic Kingdom. but now and then there's like maybe a Coco thing, but now it's Encanto at Magic Kingdom. There's the younger kid, which is going to be able to talk to animals. That's his magic power. So I think while you're on the ride, you'll see some animals.
Right.
It's going to be like Mystic Manor. And so
Dude, if they do a Mystic Manor style thing in Animal Kingdom, it'll get me to go to Animal Kingdom.
that's what I think it's going to be. It's going to be the same kind of concept. It's just not going to be Mystic Manor. It's going to be Encanto. It's going to be magical, just like the Mystic Manor ride.
Because
With
Mystic Manor, because that's in Shanghai, right? For those that don't know, that's
yeah,
Shanghai.
yeah, because
That's like,
they
go
can't
ahead.
do ghosts. There's
Right.
no
And
afterlife in China.
Shanghai has some of the best rides in as Disney parks for some reason. They've got the best pirates. They've got the best haunted mansion.
Yeah.
So I've also heard, and then the rumor one. Well, we'll get to it when we get to it. That's not going to be here. It's going to be in Disneyland.
So in the Latin Americas, in that town of the Magical family from Encanto, there's a guy who has heard all these stories about all these animals, and he's made a carousel. He's sculpted them out of wood, and it just so happens they're all the characters from the Disney movies. There's a Nemo carousel character. There's Kevin from Up. Um, there's probably Lion King in there. You name it. It's just going to be a carousel of all these famous Disney characters, famous or well-known, well-loved characters. It's going to be a new restaurant. They're taking the restaurant from Dinoland and retheming that to Latin America, something or other. So that's going to be something. And then Dinosaur, which we've talked about, is a clone of the Indiana Jones ride. It's the same ride track. It's just different theming. It's going to be Indiana Jones. It's going to be a whole new adventure. It's going to be something related to the Latin Americas. It's not going to be based on the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, unfortunately. But and then the other thing they announced for Animal Kingdom is the Tree of Life is going to get a Zootopia film. So the Bugs Life thing that's been there since its opening is gone. It's going to be a Zootopia related show.
Bugs Life. I think they needed to do that, and well, yeah, I guess Zootopia is more relevant than Bugs Life but it's been a minute in Zootopia.
Yeah.
And speaking of Zootopia, you've watched? Yeah, you've seen it. Did you pick up on the Breaking Bad vibes undercurrent in Zootopia?
No, it's been a while since I've watched Zootopia, I'll be honest.
So the drugs that they're using or whatever, it's not a drug, but whatever they're using to turn the animals rabid is
Yeah.
blue, and it's made in a in a RV underground or something, and it ties totally into Breaking Bad.
That's funny.
It is. It's just like it's very subtle, but if you watched Breaking Bad and you're paying attention to Zootopia, you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, that's very funny. When it comes to Epcot, the only thing they announced was a retheme of a lounge, but they've invested heavily in Epcot. Unfortunately, there's nothing new to the Imagination Pavilion, which is something I've been hoping for. Maybe incorporating Figment into the Inside Out characters.
Yeah.
But something needs to happen there. It's a sad pavilion and it's well loved. Figment brings money for them, so they got to do something.
Yeah, well, plus they're just getting done with like 10 years worth of construction at Epcot, so I think they need to leave that park alone for a minute.
Yeah, they're not going to do much, so we're going to leave it there. When it comes to the Magic Kingdom, there's a lot going on.
Yeah. Magic Kingdom.
So Frontierland, let's be honest, from the perspective of 2024, can be considered problematic to some people.
Mm-hmm.
You've got, people coming in and taking Native American land. You've got, slavery. You've got people just straight up murdering. I don't like the way you looked at me. Boom, done. You're done. You're killed.
Mm-hmm.
It just, it's an awkward time. Josh D'Amaro came out and said, "What is Frontierland? But the frontiers in our mind," which pretty much means Frontierland is dead. It's gonna get rethemed.
Yeah.
And part of that was Rivers America. At first, I was a little upset about the Rivers America going away, only because I really like the aesthetic. I've been out to Tom Sawyer Island within the past well, within the past 15 years at some point. It was closer to the 15 years in the current, you know?
You're better than most because the last time I've been to Tom Sawyer Island,
Never.
the first time I went to Disney
Oh.
World when I was like 7 or 8.
Yeah.
And that's the only time I've been.
There's nothing out there. It's a bunch of forts. Snakes are an issue on that island. You got water moccasins in Florida, so the Disney's got to be on top of that. There's a restaurant, a small restaurant, or a booth maybe that hardly ever gets opened because it's not many people go out there. You're talking about one of the most famous parks in the world. You've got this island, this valuable real estate that nobody's using. You also have guns pointed at the Big Thunder Railroad, and so they're fake guns, but you're like shooting people as the cars roll by. Like,
Oh, really? Wow.
they're not snap guns. They're just like screwed down so you can just pivot them.
Right.
But still in today's age, they're trying to step away from that stuff. For
Right.
better or for worse. I'm not going to argue the merits of it. I'm just going to say Disney has a problem with it. They're stepping away from it.
Mm-hmm.
All this, and then in addition to that, there was a UCF professor of hospitality who was talking about his understanding of rivers of America. You're talking about was it 50-year-old man-made river
Right.
that is in dire need of replacement, and it's probably just going to be better for them to plow it over. It does go out to the Seven Seas Lagoon for flooding purposes. You've got a place to divert water, and because of that, they're going to have to build a bridge or something around rivers of America because you don't want people to go out past Frontierland, have to turn around and come back around and go to the Met and go back up to the Haunted Mansion and then go back to Vinland's Land, and those lands are connected.
Right.
Think of a U shape instead of a circle. So the idea now is to just completely cover over the rivers of America, cover over Tom Sawyer Island, and make it the Cars Land.
Dude, Cars is a good. I guess the only issue I have with all this is by the time that they're done with it are those franchises still going to be feasible or still resonating, or you know what I'm trying to say?
Yes. Cars 2 was made because of the amount of merchandise Cars 1 sold.
Okay.
So the story wasn't there, but they had to make the movie because they needed to sell more cars. So this is a land where they're going to be selling Lightning McQueen stuff left and right. This character endures. Is that the right word? It resonates still to this day.
Uh-huh.
And so they'll have something, but it's probably not going to be the same thing as Test Track because of all the rain. They have to come up with some sort of new ride system. Because it's my understanding it took a long time for them to figure out Test Track because when it goes outside, it shut down for a while. It's the least reliable ride in all of the Magic Kingdom, or in Disney World, sorry, of all the 4 parks.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm pulling up a map right now, and I wish this map was better. I'm looking at a map of Disney World right now.
But if you have this car ride where you're driving around in a speed racer, you don't need the Tomorrowland Speedway on the other side of the park, which is loud. You smell the diesel stuff. They haven't switched over to green vehicles. So I would imagine at some point in the future that's going to go away and it's going to be something else.
Right.
Probably same thing with the Laugh Factory, and we'll get to that in a few minutes with the Monsters Inc.
Okay. Yeah. Now I see what they're doing. Yeah. No, I agree. I mean,
So sometime before now in 2030, that Rivers of America will be gone. It'll be Cars. And then sometime beyond 2030, behind that, kicking off with the Haunted Mansion, you'll get a Villain's Land.
That is a lot of land, a lot of real estate back there.
Yeah. That's like 11 acres.
Wow. Yeah. No, and I know you were saying that you were concerned about the aesthetic and you like the water.
Yeah.
But I think you'll be okay because they're going to, it's going to trust the Imagineers they're going to make it up to you because they're still going to have water and aesthetic. But like you were saying, you had sent an article, or Joe, it must have been
Yeah, it
you.
was me.
That, yeah, they're going to have to dredge. This thing needs to get dredged out. This thing's in bad shape. And to the Disney, it's like, do you refurb something that doesn't make sense that nobody uses, or do you rip it out and put something new in there that everybody's going to use, and it's going to get more people into the park and bring people, move people around and eat people, not eat people, but eat people, eat people up and have the capacity, because they need it.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it just, the part that stinks is by the time I hope that it's going to be a ride that a lot of people can ride, because it's like, I don't know, but you're looking at probably 10 years before this thing's done. So my grandkids will be like 20.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, oh, I used to like cars. Can I ride it? No. Well, that sucks. So.
And then.
Yes, go for it.
And then we cut over to Hollywood Studios, where I owe Jordan an apology. There's a lot of talk that the Muppets were in danger. And when you look at the artwork for Monstropolis, which is the city from Monsters Inc., it's quite evident that in the one concept art, it is Launch Bay. It is Animation Courtyard. This land has been rumored for about 15 years. And it was rumored to replace that Launch Bay area, Animation Courtyard. That was all going to go away, and it was going to become Monstropolis.
Mm-hmm.
And so when that artwork came out, and everybody was just complaining that the Muppets were going away, I'm like, guys, look at the artwork. It's exactly like Animation Courtyard. It's not going to go in the Muppets area. Mm-hmm. But then reality kind of sets in, and I had to step off my soapbox and tuck my tail between my legs and issue apology. Jordan, I am sorry. I came off stronger than I probably should have because I didn't have all the facts. The facts are that behind Animation Courtyard is all of Magic Kingdom's or Disney World's HR offices, mm-hmm. or in executive offices. And there's a parking deck back there, and they would have to invest more into developing that area, because you have to make new infrastructure for those administrative offices.
Right.
And then you would have to take it down and then rebuild infrastructure for the park. It would be easier to go somewhere else where that's not involved, where they already have a restaurant, where they already have city theming, and that would be the Muppets Courtyard.
Yeah.
The Muppets Courtyard would come down. The issue there is you would have this giant building which could impede the view in Galaxy's Edge. It wouldn't be Star Wars-esque. It would look like this Monsters Inc. building that's towering over Rise of the Resistance.
Yeah, because I had heard the same thing, that you can't really do anything because there's a lot of infrastructure in Animation Courtyard, like you were saying. I don't know if they'll get rid of. I don't know. I don't. I think Muppet Vision 3D needs to. There's something that needs to get done with it, because it's a walk on. And it I need to get out of the heat, so I'll go watch Muppets Vision for 20 minutes or whatever.
It is.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. And the back of that courtyard is like all that courtyard. You're not I mean, it's. I'm looking at it right now. It's a pizza restaurant that sucks. It's an Italian restaurant and a pizza restaurant. And I've heard nothing but bad things about the pizza restaurant. And who's going to eat Italian in 100-degree weather?
Yeah.
And then there's some stuff, because I never go back there. I mean, I'll go hit Muppet Vision 3D, and then that's it. Then you're off to Galaxy's Edge. And then some people had also said Star Tours might be in trouble, but I don't know why they get rid of Star Tours.
I don't either. That'd be dumb. And that would make me angry. Even angrier than the Muppets, because that was Jim Henson's last thing that he worked on before he died. That is the last time he voiced Kermit the Frog. And for me, like, Kermit is my spirit animal. Mm-hmm. And whenever anybody else does the voice, I'm like, that's not Kermit. The only one that's close is Brian Henson. And obviously there's genetics there that makes it sound like he's closer to his father than anybody else.
Right.
But that is the last thing that Jim Henson worked on, and it's a great show. It's in 3D. It would be a shame if it went away. And there's two pieces of artwork that were released from Monsters Inc. One is Animation Courtyard. The second one is If It Was Muppets Courtyard.
Yeah.
And so I apologize about that because I came off stronger than I should have, Jordan.
Yeah, you were a little bit ornery that morning.
Yeah, because I was really tired because it just was flooding my page of all these Muppets are going away, Muppets are going away. And I'm like, we don't have the facts and figures. And if you look at the artwork, like I said, it's Animation Courtyard. It's
Yeah.
Launch Bay.
I mean, unless they couldn't really put it back by Tower of Terror, could they?
No, not really. Because there's a road there.
Okay.
What they need to do is, I guess, take away some of that parking lot and build further out the parking lot.
Which parking
just kind
we're
of
at?
like in the parking lot, if you're standing, I guess at the entrance, the parking lot is sort of off on the left. It's further out.
Right.
But like if you would have to move the park, expand the park to the left. What I think
Okay, yeah, behind Indiana Jones.
Well, actually, what I think they should do is take down Indiana Jones and build Monsters Inc. there.
Yeah.
'Cause Indiana Jones is getting his own ride now. The
Right,
Muppets
because
will have no place to go.
right. No, you're right. I think they should do that. And what's this right here? Oh, Backlot Express.
You're looking at an old one.
I'm
Is that an
looking at
old-
the Disney map, dude. I pulled up Disney World. I'm on the Disney website.
Oh, that's a restaurant, Backlot Express. Sorry.
Right. Yeah, it's a restaurant. Yeah, and I thought all these shopping bags, because they have shopping bags, I thought they were locks. And I was like, why is this locked? And then I realized it's a shopping bag.
The Muppets have been making appearances in Liberty Square, so if the worst happens and the Muppets go away, they need to retheme the Hall of Presidents and make that a Muppet show where the Muppets talk about U.S. history or something along those lines. Because
Could they put Muppet Vision 3D in Hall of Presidents?
listen, they should.
It would
Or
get the same
They should do something.
because Hall of Presidents, I mean, all right. I'm not going to get too political, but I'm going to get political for like 30 seconds because we went in 2019 to the Hall of Presidents when they had Donald Trump was the big was the president. So he's the one giving the speeches. And there was a dude next to us that the whole time he was talking, he was like, no, 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 not my president. No, 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 no. And it's like, dude, do you realize where you are? You're in the Hall of Presidents, and this
Why
is
did
what
you even
happens in the
go
Hall
in
of
there?
Presidents.
Yeah.
Huh?
Why did he go in there? It's
Right,
expected.
And it was like, we need to get out the heat and we want to see it because it's nostalgic. It's Disney. It's like going to the Carousel of Progress. You go to the Hall of Presidents, but it's like, dude, it's Donald. This is what they do, man. Shh, enjoy the show or don't come in. But
Exactly. But it needs to go away because of that, because it's going to piss off half of the population that goes to Disney parks
Mhm.
and
The Hall of Presidents.
the Hall of Presidents.
Yeah.
They need to rework it somehow. It's not working in its current state. They need to do something. Keep Liberty Square, incorporate the Muppets. There was a rumor at one point that Lin-Manuel Miranda was going to be collaborating with Disney on something for that replacement because he did Hamilton, which covered U.S. history,
Mhm.
the Revolutionary, Constitution. It's
Oh my
Alexander
God.
Hamilton.
If they did a Hamilton thing in the Hall of Presidents, wow.
They gotta do something.
Right.
And so I think it might be cool to have Lin-Manuel Miranda write a Muppet show that goes in the Hall of Presidents.
That would be a way to solve a lot of things. Then you're not getting you're not killing the Muppets.
I know Lin-Manuel Miranda has haters. I'm not one of them. I do enjoy what he's done. I think We Don't Talk About Bruno is an incredible song. It's an earworm.
Oh
The
my
Moana
God, yeah.
songs were
Yeah.
awesome.
Let me say a story about Bruno. I had not seen Encanto yet, and my grandkids had seen it. And my granddaughter's sitting in the back going, "We don't talk about Bruno." She's singing a song along, and I'm like, the only Bruno I know is the Sacha Baron Cohen Bruno. I hadn't seen Encanto yet. I'm like, why would she know about that?
Different Bruno.
I'm like,
7-foot frame, rats along his back. When he calls your name. What's the rest of the song? I forget.
Right.
Anyways, I'm sure it's stuck in your head now. You're welcome.
Right. Thank you. All I know is the chorus.
For those that know the song, I just got it stuck in their head. You're welcome.
Right. Yes.
What can I say except you're welcome? Which is another Lin-Manuel
Yeah.
Miranda song.
See, yeah, that one I kind of know better because I've seen Moana, but yeah.
So those are the big announcements. You wanted to talk about Skeleton Crew, and the Mickey Mutineers were talking about how Skeleton Crew might be an origin story for Captain EO, which no,
And that just set you off, man. As soon as I said that,
No.
you were just like,
no.
you.
And it's not just them. There's other people talking about it.
Well,
Captain EO is cheesy.
Well, and it also is the fact that one of the characters, one of the little fuzzy guys, is almost identical. And then when you start digging, you're going to find stuff. And I've never seen Captain. If I have seen Captain EO, it's a long time ago and I don't remember it. All I know is it was Michael Jackson and he was pretending he was a space trilogy or space odyssey or something. So, but it's the fact that they've got the orange fuzzball, you know, and you're like, oh, that's the same fuzzball. And then when you start looking, you're like, wait a minute, that robot could be an updated version of the robot from Captain EO, but they just have the same peg leg. So, and then wait a minute, there's a young black kid who kind of looks like Michael Jackson.
No, stop. It's pain. It's like hurting me. It's hurting.
It's like, wait a minute, let me look. So I mean, once you start digging, you can find anything with, you know, like that's the one thing I learned about statistics. You can prove anything with statistics. So once you start digging and start putting things together, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, it's just like, what's next? The timekeeper? It's like,
hey, look, there's Figment.
hey, look,
Figment's
there's
in it.
Stitch. Hey, he just said 626, so maybe Stitch is in this. It's like, where does it stop? I'm glad you're having your fun, but it would be I would not enjoy it if Captain EO had an origin story in Skeleton Crew.
Oh, I just want it to be good, man. I just want good Star Wars. That's all I want. And if it's gonna be a kid comedy, or not a kid comedy, but a kid buddy show or something like that, let's sit down, shut up, and enjoy it. See what happens. You know, because and either you or Jordan said it, if somebody said it's Goonies / ET. And, you know, those were good movies. Let's you know, if they're going to do that, just remember Star Wars was made for 10-year-olds.
Mm-hmm.
And
But
enjoy
yeah,
it.
that's the announcements. I apologize if anybody felt my behavior this week was uncalled for, but I was angry.
Yeah, you're okay, Jason.
I'll be fine.
It was
This
like,
is why I
man,
go to
what's wrong with
counseling.
Jason?
That's why I go to counseling.
That's why I was like, Jason, how much coffee did you have? And you're like, normal amount.
Normal amount, man. I'm just riding this anger, man.
Right.
That's my secret. That's my secret. I'm always angry.
You're always angry, dude. All right, so we're gonna go Universal for a minute. Have you seen Starlight Racers? The video they released, the Starlight Racers, the roller coaster, the dueling roller coaster. You have
No.
not. Oh my god. My son's girlfriend's working on it, and I could say it because she posted it, so now I could say it because she put it on Facebook. But she's one of the ones that she's working on getting the ride up. You know, like she's going to be like a supervisor on the ride, on
She's an
ride ops.
Imagineer.
No, she's not an Imagineer or an engineer or whatever. She's ride ops, so she's going to be running.
She's on the
ride.
operations side.
You're right. And so they're like running it right now, and I think she is like, there's a list of 10 people that can ride it. She's like number 11 or 12. So, but I don't know if they've ridden people on it, but I mean, it looks insane. And the thing that scares me about it is it feels like it looks like it's the same restraint system that's on Velocicoaster. So you're going to be coming out of your seat on this one too, but there's 2 turns in it.
I don't like that.
Yeah, it scares me, but I'm still going to ride it at least once. But there's 2 turns in it. It's a dueling coaster. So it's 2 coasters right next to each other. And there's 2 turns in it that the coasters are flipping on top of each other. So you're in a corkscrew turn with another roller coaster. It just looks so crazy.
Yeah, I'd be more comfortable with a shoulder strap with a seatbelt buckled into the bottom so I don't feel like I'm going to fly out. That Velocicoaster is something else without that shoulder strap.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fate. There was a woman who recently died. Oh, that was the other thing I wanted to talk about real quick. There was a woman who died at Six Flags because the seat broke on a roller coaster.
Yeah.
But a woman died at Disney recently. She was allergic to peanuts, and she kept asking the waiter in the restaurant, "Is there any peanuts in this dish?" And they said no. And they reassured her. She's, "Are you sure? Because I'm allergic to peanuts." And they said no, and she ate it. She had an allergic reaction. They tried to administer the EpiPen. She died in the hospital. The husband is trying to sue for wrongful death. And because the woman once signed up for Disney Plus, it says that you cannot sue Disney for anything in the Disney Plus terms, which includes the entire company. So if you sign up for Disney Plus and something were to happen, like you've lost all your rights because you're part of Disney Plus. And it's my understanding that these terms kind of get held up
Right.
in the court of law. So, which I think is unfair for the consumer. Like, if something were to happen with Disney Plus, yes, you lost all your rights. But if something happens in the park, that has no relation to anything on Disney Plus.
Right. And also, I mean, because whenever you go to a sporting event, if you there's a lot of fine print on the back of a ticket, or so it's the same thing.
Yeah,
So Disney's going to get out of it either way, but it said something that it had to be in arbitration. So can they at least still negotiate? And
they
Disney
can
be like,
negotiate. Yeah,
they can't. So I mean, he's still going to. I don't know. I hope Disney takes care of him, but
do the
it
right thing.
do the right Disney do the right thing and take care of this guy. But yeah, it just sucks. But I mean, what am I trying to say? Disney's gonna get out of it, and all big corporations are gonna get out of it no matter what. But yeah, I hope they take care of them because I know, and I hate to be like, oh, somebody. If you get stuck on a ride, getting stuck on a ride and dying because you're allergic to peanuts is two totally different things. But I know when you get stuck on a ride, they've always taken, they always seem to take care of people. So hopefully they'll do the same thing.
Mm-hmm. And
So,
lastly, to finish up the theme park talks, every June there is a magazine that releases the attendance records from their estimates
mhm.
for all of the Orlando parks. And from 2019 to 2023, in 2019, Magic Kingdom had 20 million people. 2023, 17 million. Animal Kingdom, it was 13 million and it dropped down to 8 million. Epcot was 12 million, it dropped down to 11 million. But I mean, it's maybe like 800,000 people difference. It's not that big.
Right.
Hollywood Studios was 11 million, 11.5, and then it dropped down to 10 million. Universal Studios Florida was 10 million. It dropped down to 9. Islands of Adventure was 10 million. It stayed at 10 million.
Yeah.
So it kind of tells the story because the Universal stuff, there wasn't a significant drop off. Makes me think that there's something with Disney and maybe that story that Disney's too expensive is really affecting the attendance. People are skipping it and people keep complaining about the economy. I mean, that's probably a factor as well, but I don't know. Like maybe the story that Disney's too expensive is affecting the company and is affecting people going there because why spend $10,000 on a vacation that used to cost 5?
Yeah. No, I agree with that. There's something going on, and I think uh I'm not the next 10 years at Disney with all this construction is gonna suck unless they do it in a way that it doesn't affect it. Because when we went in 2019 and when you're walking through Epcot and the first 100 yards, 200 yards, the first half of Epcot's that you're walking through is construction walls, it definitely taints your taste buds. So I'm hoping that they do this construction in a way that it doesn't affect a whole lot of the park, but I don't see how they can't do it. Because I mean, when they were doing Galaxy's Edge, Hollywood Studios was basically a 2-hour park. It was almost a waste to go to Hollywood Studios. So I don't know. I don't see those numbers getting any better for Disney. And I
If
mean
Prince
go ahead.
Sorry, ADHD's kicking in. If Prince played Captain EO, I'd be on board. Anyway, sorry, continue.
Well, maybe if they would have done Captain EO 10 years later, Prince would have been Captain EO.
Yeah.
But
it totally derailed you. I'm sorry.
You totally
The
did.
intrusive thought won out.
Yeah, but anyway, I mean, I've got a trip scheduled for next May, and it's got me with I'm going to pay attention to all this construction that's going on. Seriously. Because it's not fun to go to a park that's under construction. Because it's crowded, and it just it loses a lot when you do that. And I'm like, well, I may just wait. I don't want to wait another 5 years to go back to Disney, but you know, I don't see those numbers getting any better in the next 5 to 10 years until all this construction's done. Because you've got people that'll be like, I'll wait. If I'm going to spend $10,000 on a vacation, it's not going to be in a park that's under construction. So Disney better do something. What's your thoughts, Jason?
They better do something.
They better do something. Either they're giving away a lot of discounts, or they're just saying F it.
Discounts, or maybe a new parade, or maybe a new dessert stand, something like that. We should really get that. Maybe like boats that just have characters on it that drive through Animal Kingdom. That might be exciting. I don't know. There's a lot they could do.
Right. Well, I mean, some of that makes sense, but they better do that. If they're going to do characters, they better give a pretty deep discount too.
That was sarcasm.
I know it was.
Okay,
I know it.
Just making sure.
Yeah, you're being sarcastic.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to do. I'm excited for all the changes, but then you've got to look at it. It's going to be 10 years before we're going to see any of them. Unless they do some fast, you know, like what at Cars Land, we're not going to see that for 5 to 10 years. Unless Disney hired some people from Universal.
I thought everything they announced was supposed to be done by 2023, except for Villains, which would be post 2023.
You mean 33?
2030.
2030? So 5 years?
Sorry, 2030.
Okay.
I'm still thinking
5
about
years.
Prince.
So 5 years. So the next 5 years. 10 years, I'm thinking, because Villains Land is... Hey, if they can get it all done in 5 years, I'll be very impressed. Because that's a lot. You're going to have something going on in every park. Construction-wise.
Everything but Epcot.
Yeah. Well, it's because it took them 10 years to get Epcot right.
Yeah. Well, it's not even right by some standards.
Right. No, I mean, well, you see, and it also, because they were promising a whole bunch of stuff. They were going to do like a new pavilion. Some kind of pavilion where apparently you could watch the fireworks at the top of the pavilion. They didn't do that.
No, they didn't.
And they were going to redo Spaceship Earth. They didn't do that. So I'm kind of curious how much. I hope we get it all, because it all sounds awesome. I mean, Villains Land sounds incredible, and I think even didn't Disney Dish say that, or somebody had said, one of the podcasts was like, they think Villains Land is a direct, as soon as they announced Universal Monsters Land at Universal, they said, we're doing Villains Land.
Yeah.
Because we need it.
Yeah. They need to compete. They need to do something to chase what Universal's doing.
Yeah. And
and next up is Super, what's another Italian name? I can't think. I'm great
Super
at improv.
Rosito Land.
Yeah, Super Rosito Land. He's an Italian.
Do we have any plumbers? We need some plumbers.
He's not a plumber anymore.
He's not a plumber anymore?
Nope. Wait, no, he's still a plumber. He's not Italian. Sorry, wrong one.
Okay, so he's not Italian. Okay.
Mario's not Italian anymore. He's just a plumber.
All right, but he has a Mario and Luigi, and they're not Italian. They're just plumbers with Italian names.
Mario, and Luigi Mario. They're just plumbers. One's actually a Ghostbuster. He goes out and he tries to find ghosts, but he's shaking his legs.
I'm afraid of no ghosts.
Luigi's Mansion is a fun game.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, hey, Disney's going to be awesome again in 5 years, I hope.
Yeah, and if they're chasing after what Universal's doing, why don't we get a new Star Wars land in one of the other parks
Yeah.
with Tatooine? Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Maybe
What was-
another side of Hollywood Studios is Tatooine.
Right. Well, that's what shoot, when because they're doing when we had said the Singapore ride of Pirates, they're doing a version of that or that's what people are speculating, the ride that they're doing for
Encanto.
no shoot. Avatar. Because they're doing an Avatar land in Disneyland.
Yeah.
And people are speculating that that ride's going to be a clone or similar to the Pirates in Shanghai.
Yeah, would you put like a Magic Kingdom Tatooine? Like, you can't do it at Epcot
No,
unless one of the pavilions is just like imaginary Tatooine pavilion.
that would be let's just do a Star Wars pavilion, or
Do a
you can't do it Star Wars.
pavilion.
It would have to say, if you're going to do something like that in Epcot and make it a pavilion, you'd have to say that you couldn't say Tatooine or well, you don't want to say Batu. Batu just, it came off my top of my head, but you are like Cloud City, but then you'd have to be like a Star Wars pavilion.
Yeah. But I mean, what's to stop them from doing something like that? Or even like, I don't know, what's something fantastical? Like maybe something from The Incredibles, whatever city they live in, that's a pavilion.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it past Disney to do something like that, because there's still places where they can expand.
Right. I mean, that's basically what Epic Universe is a bunch of different pavilions.
Portals. They're portals.
They're portals, but they can shut off a portal so somebody can rent it.
And there is a phase 2 for Epic Universe.
I haven't heard that.
There is. I don't know what's involved, but there is plans to have a phase 2 with other additional portals.
Wow.
But yeah, I wouldn't put it past them. Anyways.
Let me finish. I have a thought, and I'm going to get it out before you go into the ending. So Disney is actually, I think what they're doing is kind of smart, because it's getting to a point now to where you have to go to all the parks, because they're putting they're putting little carrots in all the parks to where you're going to want to go see it. So you can't skip a park anymore. You're not going to be able to skip a park anymore, or at least get park hoppers to where you're hopping around. So they're smart, because people will be like, well, I got to go 4 days to Disney or 5 days to Disney. I don't have time to go to Universal.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
And thank you for listening to the Smugglers Galaxy podcast. If you could, please leave a like and a 5-star review of the show anywhere you listen to podcasts. It really helps us out and points people to our show. Follow us on social media. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Send us an email or message us. Let us know if that Galaxy's Edge ride should be considered as part of our 2024 bingo card. We love feedback. We'd love to make you part of the show. Our email address is smugglersgalaxy@gmail.com. Thank you to Alfonso Riviera for the Smugglers Galaxy logo. Thank you to Levi Waterhouse for the music. People, collect for the love of it. # vote with your wallet. Kanan looks exactly like Freddie Prinze Jr. Pass on what you've learned. Be a positive force in the collecting community. This is the way.
This is the way.